I said I was going to do this, still going to do it. It's almost February, still going to do it. Had 2 botched filming attempts, but still going to do it. It's my top 10 films of 2015. A couple of things to cover before we get started. 1. This is a completely subjective list of all the films I dug in 2015, and shouldn't be taken as some be-all, end-all movie list. Though if you do that, well, I'd be flattered. 2. Wasn't able to see everything that came out in 2015, much as I would like the ability to bend time and space to do that. If you don't see a movie on this list you were expecting, well, just assume that I saw it, and it has some place to be in the grand scheme of things. And if it's The Revenant you're wondering about, make sure to check out my last video. With that in mind, let's get things started. Number 10, Black Mass. I'm not only giving this film the number 10 spot because Johnny Depp is back to acting again, but rather because I totally dug its sinister and grim feel throughout. It's a movie about a bad guy who rose to the ranks, and the movie completely left out his fall from grace. The entire cast is great, and it feels like a worthy addition to the Boston mobster genre. Number 9 belongs to It Follows. It Follows is just creepy. Not fast-paced or overly written, creepy. And with the help of its eerie score and haunting locations, becomes a movie that gives you that unshakable feeling of looking over your shoulder. Number 8 is a movie you probably won't find on many other lists this time of year, but I'm glad to have it on mine. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Guy Ritchie set out to do a throwback 60s spy movie, and did so in the most fun way imaginable, with zippy humor, great soundtrack and score, and what feels like endless replay value. Number 7 is the first revisit to a franchise that started in the 70s, and glorified Oscar snub, Creed. To be frank, I still haven't gotten around to watching the Rocky movies. Shocking. But I've heard they're pretty inspiring, and if that's the truth, Creed has a place not only among them, but holds its own as a great movie. Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic lead. Sylvester Stallone showed some acting muscle for the first time in a long time. And the film itself goes above just crowd pleaser by having some great filmmaking going on in some of the best shot fight scenes out there. Number 6 belongs to Spotlight. We see a lot of police procedural movies, but not so many journalism procedural movies, which is a shame, because if they were as good as Spotlight, we'd have a solid genre. What seals it for me with Spotlight is the fact that it is so methodical, thought out, and inspiring in its own way in watching journalists succeed in doing the right thing, despite adversity. Number 5, like Spotlight, is another story based on true life, Steve Jobs, the not Kutcher one. Aaron Sorkin is one of the best writers out there that you go and watch his material just to listen to people talk. And on that note, Steve Jobs fully delivers. The script is one of the best things to come out of the studio this year. The cast are all terrifically game for it. And the film itself, through its unconventional storytelling methods, sheds light on a guy who supposedly could be kind of an asshole. Number 4 is Alex Garland's directorial debut, Ex Machina. There are plenty of bad or disappointing artificial intelligence movies out there, some of them from this year, but Ex Machina managed to be one that's both thoughtful, disturbing, and entirely fascinating in how it lays out the questions of what it is to be human. Coming in at number 3 is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Force Awakens needed to do one thing: remind people why they like Star Wars. Did it succeed? Not only did it do the trick for established fans of the franchise, it brought in an entirely new generation through the use of great fun new characters, another John Williams score to add to the collection, and an endearing sense of fun throughout. Wholly original? Not really, but then again, did it need to be? Number 2 is a film that unfortunately missed the awards train this year, for what reason I can't even fathom, Sicario. Let's see, you've got 3 main cast members giving beyond noteworthy performances, check. Timely and thoughtful commentary on a current global issue, check. Roger Deakins shooting the movie, double check. But no, what seals it for me with Sicario is that it is one of the best movies in recent memory to build tension. From basically scene 1, the music starts up and you sit in your seat and wind like a clock for 2 hours. I don't usually recommend movies that require you to take Xanax, but if I did, Sicario would be at the top of that list. Before we get to the number 1 entry on this list, let's take a moment to look back at some of the runners-up that just missed the cut. finally, we make it to #1, a film that looked great beforehand, was great while watching, and still holds up great when talking about it. Mad Max Fury Road. The thing about Fury Road is a great example of how you build a world and just don't compromise in what you want to show, what you want to say, what you want out of your actors, and the film is all the better for it. George Miller makes one of the most fun, frantic action movies out there, and completely sticks the landing as not only just a great action movie, just a great, well-made movie in general. That wraps it for 2015. Looking forward to 2016. You can expect weekly reviews. Hit the subscribe for when those start up. I've already got the Revenant out there. We'll keep rolling from there. Let me know in the comments what your favorite films of 2015 were. And while you're at it, click on the info of this video to check out my podcast, Super Movie Studies, where some colleagues and myself delve into detail and all you want to know about superhero film, television, video games, and more.